Why did you become a recording artist?
I became a recording artist because, I remember my mom telling me like the first thing, I didn't have a first word, I had a first note, you know what I mean? And just growing up, man, I've always wanted to sing, I've always just had that thing where I just always wanted to entertain, even as a child, man, even at the little family reunions and shit, I always just like grab the mic and just start entertaining, man. So I always wanted to be, now I didn't know I was gonna be a singer, but I always knew I would work somewhere in the entertainment field.
What form of music were you introduced to at first?
Uh, the, f- Growing up, man, I wanna say um, the genre of music that I was introduced to was gospel. Growing up kind of a PK, what I mean by that is like a pastor's kid. Uh, that was like my background. And I appreciate that because the thing about gospel music is it teaches you to move people and sing without the gimmick. What I mean the gimmick is like, okay, forget the dancing, forget all that. Can you stand flat foot and sing and move people? So I'm actually grateful that that's how I grew up with that church and that gospel background because it taught me how to move people as well as showmanship, so.
What age or maybe what grade do you think that was when you were first introduced to gospel?
I was about 6 years old when I was first introduced to gospel.
Did you join your father's choir?
Well, my dad was the pastor, my dad was the minister, and my mom was over the choir, 100 voice choir. So I was the youngest in the choir, man. You were supposed to be like the age, you're supposed to be 12 to get in the choir. But of course, she was like, well, I'm the director, so it don't even matter. But yeah, so I was 6 years old leading songs, man, and taught then to like I said, like how to move people, bro.
Was anybody at the church questioning that, your age, that you became part of the choir, or was there some sort of, I don't know, envy or jealousy or things of that nature over there?
You know what? The thing about it is just growing up in the church period, they're glad to, it's something when you can notice your gifts at an early age. So really it was no hate, nothing like that. It was more like encouragement,
Okay. And what vocal position were you when you were in the choir?
You know what? To this day, I don't even know my vocal position. All I know is give me a mic, I'm gonna go. You know what I mean? But I would guess, just quote unquote tenor.
Okay.
But when you're younger, you kind of have more of a higher range than you do in your adult age. So, but yeah.
This church, care to share what religion it was?
Well, it was just, Baptist, just Christian, just, the black church. Where you're giving that hymn, you don't have a choice to get up and go to Sunday school. You just got to get up and go. You know what I mean?
So when it came to singing, is it fair to say this was something you wanted to do on your own, or was mom pushing you because she was ahead of the choir and things of that nature?
Well, I think moms did definitely have some influence, It was something that I wanted to do. However, waking up at 2 o'clock in the morning while she would get me and my brother up around the piano and would make us sing like 2 a.m. in the morning, man. And I would be pissed, you know what I mean? But I mean, it brought me and it showed me showmanship as well as how to deliver. So, I mean, as I look back at it, I kind of laugh because to answer the question, I don't even know if it was something that I wanted to do or if it was something I was forced to do that I end up loving. You know what I mean? But I'm glad it's what I'm doing now, definitely.
Is it also safe to say you were taught how to sing? And if not, how did you learn?
Well, you know what? I think singing is really a gift that you're born with. You can be taught vocal lessons. And what I mean by that is you can be taught how to better your craft. But it's kind of like practice does make perfect, But however, I think when it comes time to singing, man, I really think it's a gift that God gives you. There are people who take vocal lessons and things in that nature, but I really think it's a gift that you're given, and it was a gift that I was given.
Any musical influences specifically for you growing up?
Yeah, I had a couple of musical influences growing up. Prince, even before I even knew the Lineage, man, I would always grab the records when I was little, man, and just be watching his videos and watching his showmanship, you know what I mean? And growing up, I definitely listened to, I was that child that had an old, I kind of had that old soul, but I watched the greats, man, from Michael Jackson to Prince to, man, listen to Jay-Z, man. I listened to so many. I was eclectic, and I'm still eclectic, so I loved all types of music, man.
For those that aren't familiar, can you explain the lineage to Prince?
Yes, well, Prince is my cousin. My grandmother is his father's sister. So right now, we're just, every time I talk about it, I kind of just get these goosebumps, man, just because of everything that's going on. His birthday just passed not too long ago, but I'm kind of like the last musician left in the family. So the pressure on me to really deliver, is there. However, I know I'll never be as great as he was. And what I mean by that is he was great in his own right. He's gonna always be the GOAT, so I'm just gonna do me.
Where does that pressure come from specifically? Where do you feel it from?
I think the pressure comes from family.
Okay.
However, yeah, it comes from family. What I mean by that is just from my family's really big on education too.
All right.
So here I have dropped out of college to pursue and go with music all the way. I come from a family of educators and doctors. So it's kind of like, I'm kind of like the black sheep, like I didn't follow the plan given, you know what I mean? So, but then again, I've always been like that child that's gonna always do me,
What college did you attend and how far in before you made the decision to drop out?
Well, I went to WC3
Okay.
in Detroit, as well as Wayne State. So I was trying to hang in there, man, and do the online classes as well as do a semester here and there, and then it just got too crazy for me with the schedule. And I'm the type of person where if I can't give my all in something, I'll rather just withdraw or not even do it. You know what I mean? So my teachers were like, yo, we hear you on the radio, but you still in class. Like, we salute you for that, but focus on that. I'm like, you know what? I've been trying to hang in there, but you're right. So I made it to sophomore.
Okay.
Yeah.
What was your parents' reaction to you making this decision?
Well, my mom supports me, you know what I mean? My dad is still, he's still up and down, you know what I mean? My dad is still, he still has his thing about it where he's like education, but my dad is old school, you know what I mean? But at the end of the day, I'm gonna do me, man. I'm just gonna do me, and hey, they'll be all right.
Hindsight 2020, did you make the right decision?
I definitely made the right decision. And what I mean by that is I'm all about education. I don't want kids and people watching this like, yo, I should just drop out of school. No, but what I'm saying is, like, I feel like you're only young, you only got this age, you can only do so much when you have that, like, now is the time. And what I mean by that is, even when I was in college, I had like a 50-year-old lady in my class. You know what I mean? I say that to say, like, she was like, yo, she lived her life. And then she retired and went and came to school. So what I'm saying is, I don't want to look back and live with regrets like I wish I would have. You know what I mean? So I'm like, school will be there, but right now I got to strike while the fire's hot.
In enjoying that decision that you made, do you wish, hindsight 2020, do you wish you would have bypassed the college experience altogether? Do you wish you would have just went straight with what you wanted to do?
I do, but I don't. And what I mean by that is, I feel like things happen in life for a reason. So that experience, even though I may not see it now, it built me in some way. You know, college taught me how to time management, and I'm still working on that, you know, because when it comes to timing or managing time, it's hard for me juggling that. You know, I be running late for stuff, and I'm working on it, man. But class definitely keeps you on a time schedule, as well as keeps you on time to the point of where the professor not gonna say nothing. You can come in class an hour, 5 minutes before it's done and sign in. But when you get that grade, it's gonna be like, ah. So, I mean, it teaches you how to lock in and focus on stuff that really matters.
And just for the record, you were a half hour late to this interview.
However, I was stuck on the freeway. You know, I'm in Atlanta traffic, man. So, you know, but I did call, you know. As long as you communicate, that's a big thing. You got to communicate. Just don't be late, you know.
And it is your birthday today.
It is my birthday, man. But hey, we still got to work, man. So, you know, I wanted to make sure I came in and got this done because even though it's my birthday, man, it's an honor for me to be here. So
I appreciate that.
I appreciate you, bro.
Now, when it came to finding out and discovering the lineage to Prince, how was that revealed to you?
It was revealed to me when I was about 14. And it was revealed because I kept finding pictures and stuff around the house. You know, I was looking under piano benches, looking at music. I'm like, Ma, why do you have a picture of with such and such and such? Ain't this Prince? And I'm like, well, she's like, well, I'm gonna talk to you, you know, but I'm like, yo. And she was like, well, this is your cousin. I'm like, well, why am I just now finding out? She's like, well, you were kind of young. His music wasn't as clean as I thought it should be then, but you know, now you're at the age where I'm like, yo, why are you just now telling me? So I was kind of like pissed off for like a whole month. Like, how do you keep this from somebody? That's like not telling somebody that like their brother's Michael Jackson. Like, come on, you gotta do better. But now I understand, you know, as I look back, like, yo, you know, she said she wanted to tell me at an age that I could understand and just, you know, so I get it.
At this point of your life, how many years would you say you've been perfecting your craft for, musically? As a recording artist?
As a recording artist, I would say at least, seriously, at least 6 years.
In those, go ahead.
Yeah, at least 6 years.
At least 6. In those 6 years, have you ever felt like quitting?
Absolutely, man. I felt like quitting last week. And just from the strenuous, you know, a lot of times people see the finished product. They see the finished music videos, the finished interviews, but don't know the shit that you went through to get it done, you know? So I'm a perfectionist to the point of where it's kind of a blessing and a curse, because I'll like over-analyze something. Like, oh, that picture wasn't good enough. I need to do a whole new photo shoot. And it's like, yo, you don't have the time. Well, I want to go back in the studio and fix this note. Yo, it's good. You know, so in doing that, a lot of times you're wasting time. And you'll look back to the point of where, I remember Prince telling me he came to the Fox Theater in 2014. And we had some tickets and it was backstage. And he said, your song is not going to ever be perfect because you're your own worst critic. He said, but what you're hearing, the average consumer is not hearing. So he said, Elijah, if you just sit on your music and don't release it because you're worried about like, it's not perfected right. He said, you'll be sitting on songs forever. You got to put the music out there. And while you're putting the music out there, you got to own the music. You know, so I'll come back to that, but I'll say that to say like, you know, definitely, I forgot the question.
I asked you if you ever felt like quitting.
Yes, I have felt like quitting, but I didn't.
How was it ever serious though? Because you can have a thought about quitting and it goes away, but was there ever a serious consideration of really doing so? Was there a moment in those 6 years where you were really thinking about hanging it up for good?
Well, you know what? As a matter of fact, this time last summer, when I did the 4, after I walked off that stage, I was like, yo, I'm done. I'm not gonna even, I'm like, yo, it's no point anymore. Because I felt like, yo, I had friends telling me like, yo, you don't need to go on this show. You're already kind of solidified in the streets. You got a record. At this time, I had a record on the radio with T Grizzly. You know, everything was going crazy on the radio in Detroit. They're like, if you go on this show, man, you gotta win. If you don't win the show, it takes away your credibility as an artist. So I'm like, whatever. But I still had that in the back of my head. So when I didn't get a seat, I'm like, you know what? It's a wrap. I'm just gonna quit, bro. Just gonna go to writing records, modeling, doing movies. I'm just gonna quit.
Why did you choose to do the show?
Well, I chose to do the show because the platform. You know, I knew it was a great platform. You know, and I kind of watched season 1. And the crazy thing is, though, I didn't go on the show to win. I just wanted the platform, man. You know, because it's not like it was a cable station. This was Fox. You know, so anybody can watch it, whether you have cable or not. You know, and then I saw that they were getting like 15 to 20 million per episode as far as viewership. I'm like, yo, let me see if I can get on the show. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? And it was just, the crazy thing is, like, I didn't even try to get on the show now that I think about it. Someone had reached out to me before I even like could submit my video. Cause I heard the commercials going on the radio like, yo, shoot your video over for the 4. But I'm like, yo, I can't do this. I already got a record on the radio. I'll be all right.
And that's how you were actually you became a part of the show, was somebody reached out to you?
Someone reached out to me. They were looking for somebody from Detroit. And they said that they were told that, you know, I was one of the popular artists in Detroit, and they were looking for like really good singers. So at the time, they had sent me a DM. But you know, if you're not following somebody, it'll just sit in that request thing.
Right.
You know what I mean? So by the time I responded, it was like almost 3.5 weeks later, bro.
Wow.
So I was like, I'm going through my thing. I'm like cleaning out my folder. I'm like, oh shit, somebody from the 4 reached out. This is crazy. So I'm like, yo, I called. They were like, oh, we already casted the show. You know, we sent it to you about almost a month ago. I'm like, yeah, but I'm just now seeing it. They was like, yeah, but we already casted the show, man. So I was like, well, you don't have your star, man. He said, I'm sorry? I said, you don't have your star for the show. He was like, stand by. We'll be in touch. Called me like 4 hours later. It was like, I told the producers what you said, the producers for the Fox. They actually went to see how quick you can get to LA. I'm like, you tell me. They were like, well, can you be here in 2 days? I was like, sure. So they were like, okay, we're gonna set it up for you to meet some of the producers. We kind of already casted the show, but they're still interested. So I ended up flying in, ended up singing Lori Ann Gibson, Mario Winans, Carlos King. He's one of the producers. He did like Real Housewives of Atlanta, all that. And then a lot of rich Jewish Fox execs. And they're just sitting there straight faced like, okay, all right. And I ended up singing Love by Music Soul Child. And they were like, thank you. And I went out, I'm saying to myself, wow, these people didn't make one facial expression at all, man. And before I could even get to the airport, they had a van there to take me to the airport. While I'm boarding the plane, the producer calls me and says, pack a bag. We want you on the show. I was like, oh, my heart just dropped. I'm like, y'all didn't show any type of emotion. They was like, yeah, that's how they do. So I'm like, okay. And then that's how it all kind of started.
Now, I know you saw the, how big of a platform it could be. This is a national broadcasted channel. And that was important for you in making a decision like doing something of this nature. But, and you had this very popular meme off of it, of a stare down with Diddy. Was that organic?
It was organic as hell, bro.
Okay.
And what I mean by that is, like, I had no idea that of what was gonna happen. And what I mean by that is, I had literally just sung my ass off. So when it got to Diddy, when he was like, yo, I didn't like it at all. I was like crushed, bro. I'm like, okay, here I am on national TV, and this dude is telling me that I don't like the way you sung this song at all. Mind you, I sat here and watched two people go before me. And I say this humbly as possible, but they did not deliver, man. But they were able to sing their second record. You know what I mean? So I'm like, okay, all right. So even when he said that, he was like, I didn't like it at all. I'm still thinking, okay, well, I got DJ Khaled, I got Megan. I know I'm gonna at least get 2 blues. So while I'm standing there, Fergie like, you ready? I'm like, yeah, let's go. I'm good, you know. Hey. So they go to show him, man, and like 3 red rings came around. I'm like, yo. Are you serious right now, bro? Like, that shit just literally blew me away, bro. Like, I just locked in on that moment. You know, no one else was in the room to me. I just locked in on that moment like, yo, you gotta be kidding me, my man. Like, for real, bro. Anyway.
Just curious. Now, what actually kept you, though, from quitting? I know you said you felt like hanging it up right after you left the stage, but what stopped you from actually making that decision?
What stopped me from making that decision was, I said to myself, I have to prove kind of Diddy wrong. You know, and all respect to Diddy, man, and the reason why I say I salute Diddy is because it wasn't meant for me to have a seat. Because if I had a seat, this moment never would have happened. I wouldn't be sitting here if I got a seat. Because honestly, let's just be real. Does anyone know who the winner of the show was? Exactly. And I'm not saying that to throw jabs at anybody, but I'm saying that to say, like, no one's talking about the winner. The winner was not memorable. Even with season 1, you know, it's the person who didn't win who ended up going viral or just going crazy with the moment. You know what I mean? Like, no one's situation went as far as mine did, as far as viral, but I didn't know that was gonna happen. But I salute DJ Khaled because when I was walking off the stage, man, he was like, yo, you gonna go far, bro. You're gonna go far. And he said, you're the type of artist that you just need the platform. You know what I mean? So at that time, I was still crushed though, like, yo, it's not good enough for me. So for 2 weeks later, man, for things to just, you know, I saw the first meme, I just laughed like, oh, okay. And then it just started going. I kept laughing like, okay. And then when I saw Will Smith posted, I'm like, oh, okay, we may be onto something here. And then, you know, once things hit the shade room, it's like, it's out of here. You know what I mean? And then I heard them mention it on Good Morning America. I'm like, yo, this is crazy right now. You know what I mean? So I said to myself, okay, E, you have to literally, because you don't know which artists out there. I was getting DMs and emails from people over in Spain, people over in overseas, because what I didn't know was, I thought the show was done, but I know that Fox has sold the show now to overseas. So they seen it like 4 months after the show went off here. They're like, yo, you inspire me, my man. Like, girls would say to me like, yo, like, my brother was watching you sing. He's trying to sing and do music. He's trying to do music and go to school, but he keeps hearing no. And I said, wait a minute, I can't stop, because people are like looking at me as inspiration to see what I'm gonna do. So it's bigger than me. If it was just for me, I probably would have been quit, bro. I'm gonna be honest with you. But as artists, it's bigger than us, man, to the point of where you are now encouraging as well as inspiring people who are looking up to you, you know? So I literally had to take that no that Diddy and the 4 threw at me, and I turned it into new opportunity to show the world that, listen, I didn't get a seat, but look what came out of it. So I'm literally taking the memes platform and turning it around to the point where it's like, yo, I didn't win, but ultimately I did win, you know?
And you're not the first to not win a televised musical contest and be the most popular or get the most lucrative deal out of that situation.
And the crazy thing is, like, winning those shows, man, you don't end up getting the best deals anyway. it's better to just do it organically and sign a deal outside the show. You know, let that talent hold expire and sign a deal outside the show because, I mean, it just goes back to, I remember when Fantasia was talking about how she literally just started making money maybe like 3 years ago. And she won American Idol like when I was like in what, middle school or something? I'm like, yo, how you just start making money? But that's how these shows are. Like they get a big percentage of what you do. So when they say those $1 million deals from winning this show, no, it ain't $1 million. That ain't what you seeing, you know? So it's better to do the work because when you do the work and you earn it on your own, can't nobody take that away from you, man. Nobody.
Now, when you're in the recording studio, top 3 things you need in the studio.
Top 3 things I need when I'm in the recording studio. I need my booth hot. I hate air conditioning when I'm recording.
How hot are we talking?
I'm talking about like 85 and up.
Are you anemic?
No, but for vocals, I get the best sound when there's no air. Like air to me, air conditioning is like the devil when I'm in the studio because it kills my voice. It kind of goes back to, I don't know if anybody ever heard this story of Aretha Franklin. She would walk in hotels sometimes and would have them turn the air conditioning off so she could get to her room, especially when she was coming in town to stay, to do a concert, whatever hotel they would put her at, because I'm telling you that air conditioning, man, it can kill your voice. So I need it as hot as possible.
Okay.
In the booth, as well as I need my phone.
Very important.
I need my phone, and not to text and stuff all the time, but I'm kind of different to the point of where I keep like my musical notes as well as the lyrics in my notes, my iPhone. I need some tea or water. You know, I don't like a full studio when I'm recording. You know, I'm kind of past that level. You know, when you first starting off, I used to have like 20 people in the
Big entourage.
in the studio, like, yo, where you at? Come through. Pick up old girl, come through, do this. You know what I mean? Now, if you're not a part of the writing process or recording, then you don't need to be in the booth. You don't need to be in the studio. And I want to tell a lot of artists that too. Like, just don't be having people just sitting in the studio because guess what? When it comes time to recording, let's just say the song becomes a big hit, they can say, yo, I was in the studio. I gave them that word. I'm a part of that. And all they got to do is make a claim, and guess what? Just from that claim, it can hold up your whole royalty check. So, hey, that's just some a little plug for y'all. Absolutely. A little knowledge.
Is it a specific type of tea or a specific type of water?
Yes, I prefer Fiji water. I don't like Dasani. It kind of has like that aftertaste. But Dasani, if you want to do a deal, that's fine. I'll take that back. But I prefer Fiji or Voss. Yeah.
And then as far as
now this one, because this one is pretty good too. What is this?
Life
water? Yeah, I like this one.
And then as far as tea?
Chamomile tea, or green tea with honey. Absolutely.
And what does the tea for you, what does the water do for you specifically?
It really just kind of like opens you up to the point of where, like, I get raspy quick, you know, but sometimes that raspiness comes off good on records, you know, so really just, I usually like to start off before I go in. Like, I like to drink my tea before, like an hour before I go into the booth, you know, because drinking a lot of hot water is really not good for you either. You know, so really room temperature water and tea.
This raspiness, was this ever an issue for you?
I've always had like, you know, that raspy voice even as a kid, you know, especially when like I'm singing, you know, so I've always kind of had like that raspy. It's kind of like my sound too, a little.
Signature?
You know? Yeah, signature. Yeah.
Did people ever say this type of raspiness, it won't make it that far?
Never got that. No one ever really said that to me. You know, it's always been like, yo, you kind of have like a signature style. Yeah.
Were you ever teased for it growing up?
No, I was never teased growing up, man. I was always like, that protector even like in high school with people. Like if I saw somebody getting picked on, I was always like that one who, I always believed like, yo, come pick on me. I hate when bullies go pick on people who can't like come back. So come pick on me. I'm that guy like, okay, I want you to leave them alone. Come talk to me, you know? So nah, but I was never teased.
Craziest studio story, if you have one.
Craziest studio story.
Maybe even times when you had this entourage.
Okay. So there was this time, I'm not gonna say any names because they're known, so I'm not gonna say no names, but well, some of them are. So it was a time I was recording in Detroit at this one studio, and I was in the booth, and they came in, and I like the booth when I'm recording, I like it dark. So if you're coming to this particular studio and you look to the left where the booth is, if it's dark, you're not gonna think anybody's in there, right? So they come in and they're hearing the singing going on. So they're like, yo, what track is that you playing? And they were like, the engineer wasn't even able to answer yet. He was like, yo, this record sounds crazy. Why don't you, I'll just pay you to give me the track and just take him off of it, whoever that is. So the engineer is trying to tell him like, yo, just watch, he just keeps talking. He was like, yo, because I have an artist in the other booth in Studio A, because I was in B. He said, I have an artist in Studio A who needs this track. So whatever we gotta do, bro, we can just act like the files got lost or whatever. So I'll put the light up. I was like, no, my man, that ain't happening. And if you could see his face, bro, if you could see his face, I mean, it was like, nah, bro, no disrespect, bro. Nah, I fuck with your music, bro. I said, bro, really? Oh, okay, my man, it's all good. Nah, bro, I didn't mean it like that. I said, I heard exactly what you said, but I said, this is a closed session, bro. So please excuse yourself, my man. You know what I mean? And till this day, you know, when I bump into them, they can't even look at me, man. They be like, yo, bro, I didn't even. And the crazy thing is, the artist ended up getting signed and got dropped. And I'm like, yo, God, I don't like ugly, my man. Like, you just gotta do the work, bro. Do the work.
Why do you like the studio dark?
I like the studio dark because, and when I say the studio, meaning like my booth.
Okay,
you know,
the actual,
the rest can be,
the mic booth.
Yeah, the rest can be lit up, but it helps me to lock in, man. And just, especially like, to the point where like, it helps me, I zone out a lot of times when I'm in the booth. You know what I mean? And sometimes that light can be like overkill. Now it gotta be dark or like, it gotta be like one of those like a red light or like purple light or like, you know, a little dark light, but like bright lights like this, nah, can't do it.
Now, there was a time when Kanye West, I read this on TMZ, Kanye West, I don't know if he put a makeshift studio together or there was already a studio there, but he recorded or was getting creative vibes for recording on a mountaintop in Wyoming at one point.
Yeah.
Which I've never heard of somebody doing before.
Yeah.
For you, what's the most unique place or location you've gotten either those creative vibes from or you actually recorded at this point?
The craziest thing is, man, I get like the best songs come to me like in the shower. You know what I mean? Like while or the best like melodies come to me like in the shower. And the crazy thing is people gonna probably think I'm just crazy for this, but I actually want to renovate a bathroom and make the shower the booth. And where the tub and where the sink and everything is, I want to actually make that the board. Yeah, because it has like, I just feel like bathrooms just have these built-in acoustics that you just can't buy, man. You know what I mean? That's why they say like, I think, you know, you ever heard like somebody say like, yo, they sound good in the shower, but you put them outside the shower, they all right? Yeah. So if you can really sing and you go in the shower, yeah, it's gonna be dope.
Is this just a thought or have you actually really tried to make this happen?
Well, I got some things in the works. You know, I'm getting ready to relocate, so I'm trying to see what I can gut out of the place, what they'll let me gut out, and you know, if I got to get a permit for this and all that. So I'm actually just trying to see what I can make happen. But for now, it's just like it's on my bucket list, like within the next 9 months.
I assume you take really long showers.
Nah, maybe like 20 minutes. Depends.
Never to the point where your fingers get wrinkly or...
No, only like when I'm in the pool that happens. Like if I'm sitting in a jacuzzi, you know, usually I'll jump out.
Have you ever did your thing in the shower with the vocals or the melodies and it sounded really good, you thought of something really creative, and then you hop out of the shower and you lose it?
Yes, all the time. All the time. So now what I actually do now is I have Alexa. I have her record sometimes, you know, like I'll say like, yo, Alexa, record this. If I come up with the melody, you know, because I mean, if you're in the shower, 20 minutes go by, you'd be surprised how quick you lose the melody, you know what I mean? And then to try to get to your phone and do a voice note, and then you just forgot the whole melody. So now I got her sitting right on the sink. Yeah.
Risk versus reward. What's the biggest risk you took for your music career so far? And if you may have said it when you said the gamble with doing the 4. So I don't know if that fits this answer here, or maybe you had a different answer.
That definitely plays is a big bulk of the answer. But I want to say, you know, I'm my own investor. So that's a risk right there. And that's by choice that I'm my own investor right now. Because I feel like as an artist, how can you expect someone to invest in you and you don't invest in yourself? And I feel like when you invest in yourself, it's never a waste of money because you're invested in you. So if you feel like you're wasting money, that means you kind of feel some certain way about yourself, you know. So I feel like this music business is a risk within itself. But however, I would probably say, man, I love singing so much to the point of where if I wasn't paid to do it, I would definitely do it still. And I think because of that's my outlook, I think that's the reason why I continue to be favored and blessed, because people can see that it's really my passion. You know, there's some artists who are like, yo, I'm just in it for the money. And I get it. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that the money doesn't help and I don't want the money, but what I'm saying is it's my passion. So if I was called to sing, it's been many times where I'm like, yo, they're like, E, you know, we don't really have this, but you're giving back. It's like 2,000 kids here and we need you to come. All right, I got you, you know? So the risk was, I really think I stepped out a lot on faith and just risked a lot doing the 4, you know? And but the crazy thing is, if I had to do it again, man, you know what? I would do it again.
Proudest accomplishment so far in your music career at this point?
Proudest accomplishment so far in my music career? Man, I would say getting on that stage, man. I kind of have more than one. I have 2. Getting on that stage, it looks easier said than done, but get on that stage on national TV. You're basically making yourself vulnerable and just risking it all for the world. And what I mean by that is you're walking up and not only singing to the audience, but you're also singing to millions of people. You don't know how they're gonna edit you. You gotta sign the release, you know, because what a lot of people don't know is I sung the whole song of the 4 on the 4. I sung the whole song of Love by Musiq Soulchild on the show. They only showed the world though. They only showed y'all 1 minute and 20 seconds of it. So when Diddy's like, yo, you did too many runs here, you did too many runs here, you start off running here, that's how they edited it, man. I sung the whole song. Listen, I know showmanship, so I know you're supposed to start and build your way up. You know, but I get it. It's a TV show. You know, they gotta have your highs and your lows. You know, it gotta be a hit show. I get it. But like I said, at the end of the day, man, I'm blessed for how everything, and I'm grateful for how everything went down. How everything went down. At that time, if you asked me this, I would be like, man, I'm mad as hell. But now it's like, yo, things happen for a reason.
Was there a second one? Because you said the first one was on the stage.
Yes. So the second one is
Accomplishment.
My accomplishment right now, I would say is my latest record.
Reputation.
My latest record, just from who I was able to work with, man, and how it all just came together, man. That was really nothing but God, and just, you know, him looking down on me like, yo, I got you, you know, because the writer who I worked with, Makiba Riddick, she doesn't really even work with artists who aren't even signed. You know what I mean? She's worked with Beyonce, Rihanna, Ariana Grande, and it's like, yo, see something in you, you hot. Okay, I know you used to getting $40,000 advances and checks. I ain't got that. She like, no, you hot though. Let's put something together. And literally it just started moving, man.
She reached out to you?
Well, it was kind of like who I knew, she knew. I was introduced to her through like a connective management. And it was like, I was like, yo, would love to work with you. She was like, okay. Hit her on her DM, like, yo, it was a pleasure meeting you. Hopefully we can make something happen soon. And it was like, wait a minute, you're the guy from the Stare Down with, okay. Put it together, man. And yeah.
And her role with this particular song, for people that aren't familiar?
She was the main writer.
Okay.
On the song, absolutely.
Now, on the opposite end of the spectrum, and you may have answered this already as well, but I'll still ask anyways, biggest failure in your music career so far? Biggest flop?
Biggest failure?
Again, I don't know if you would put not being in, you know, getting those 3 X's and having to leave the stage. I don't know if that would count for this answer, or maybe you had a different answer.
Well, you know what? At the time, I thought it was a failure, but it ended up being one of my biggest wins, you know? So a lot of times, man, what we think is a failure ends up, at the time, you may think like, yo, this is my biggest loss, but my biggest loss turned into my biggest win. So I really haven't had any failures as far as in my music career, because everything is, before it was a failure, it was a learning lesson. So it's been more of lessons than failures. And I feel like when it's a lesson, it's something that I'm able to walk away with knowing more of how to make the next move better. You know, so if it's a lesson to me, it's not a failure. So I haven't really had any failures. I've had some lessons. You know, I now know what, you know, I can do that kind of better, but no failures.
What is the biggest misconception of you? What's one thing people think about you, but it's not true?
The biggest misconception of me is that I'm cocky. And I think a lot of times people take my confidence for cockiness. And my thing is, as an artist, you're supposed to feel like you're great. And I think that's what kind of came across on national TV as well. You know, I came out and I was touching the people's hands and they were like, oh, he's kind of cocky, he's kind of cocky. No, not at all. But my whole thing is, it's called self-esteem, esteem of yourself. So my thing is, when I know who I am and I know whose I am, I'm gonna walk around with my head held up. Why am I having my head hung low? And I remember it was this time I met somebody, they said, oh, I ran into them in the airport. They said, oh, wow, you're really nice. I was like, what did you hear? He was like, nah, I just me and my girl follow you on Instagram, and just from the way, looking at your pictures, you seem cocky. I said, what do you mean by that? Well, you know, the way you pose and hold your head in your pictures. I said, wow, bro. Are you even listening to what you're saying, man? He was like, but bro, you cool as hell. I'm like, hey, my man, you got to get to know people, my man. So I say that to say, stop making enemies out of people you've never met. Because a lot of times people just, and that's the world we live in. They just sum people up just by what they think, but I'm at the point now where I don't even care, man, because contrary to popular belief, it makes people more inquisitive about you. So, hey, if that's what you want to think, go ahead. But that's probably the biggest misconception about me is that I'm cocky when really it's just, I'm confident to the point of where, hey, man, I'm not going to walk on stage or walk into a room with my head held down. For what?
How would you, in your own words, your own description, if this is you being confident, how do you describe somebody being cocky then?
Okay. Cocky is someone coming out saying like, yo, I'm about to smash this, man. Like, as soon as they walk on the stage, like, yo, hey man, like, yeah, man, I'm better than them. I'm gonna do this. No, I'm just gonna walk in the room, man. I'm not gonna even say anything, But once you give me that mic to deliver, because I know my craft, I know that I'm confident in my craft. So it's a difference in being confident in your craft and being cocky in your craft.
Do you feel like you've lost opportunities because of this misconception?
I do. I feel like I've lost a few opportunities, but then again, I don't, because I feel like what God has for me is for me. So if you're if you don't get to the point where you get to know me because of a misconception that you think I'm cocky, you're lost. Because I'm gonna still get my bag. You know what I mean? And what God has for me, can't nobody take that. And if it didn't come to me, that means it wasn't for me. So.
And at the same time, do you feel on the opposite end of the spectrum, you've gained opportunities because of maybe this misconception?
I do feel like I've gained more opportunities than I've lost because of this misconception. But I wouldn't even say misconception, because I feel like the people who are in power, the people who God has placed for me to impact, they can read right through it and they already know, like, okay, no, that man's just confident. He knows that he can deliver, and he's good. And the people who feel like, yo, he's just cocky, my whole thing is, you're lost. If you don't want to invite me on your show or have me do a rec with you because you feel I'm cocky, what does that say about you? Like, yo, be confident in who you are. And when you're confident in who you are, you can celebrate other people. So if you're confident in who you are, I'm not worried about who's acting cocky or who's being cocky, if that's what I think they are. Because at the end of the day, hey, do what you're gonna do, because I know what I'm gonna do. And I'm gonna deliver in my craft, as well as I'm gonna show up, straight up.
Craziest rumor you heard about yourself?
I don't know. I don't really even, like, my friends, they don't even call me with it. They don't even call me because they know, like, yo, I don't even like deal with, you know what? I used to read articles back in the day that said, like, Beyonce doesn't read, like, comments. I'm like, well, why didn't she read comments? They're like, she hardly ever reads comments. And I remember her doing an interview and she said, like, yeah, I don't know, because they were like, do you know what was, she was like, I don't read comments, so I don't know. That's kind of where I'm at right now. Like, I don't know. Because my friends and my people know, like, don't come to me with that crap. You know what I mean? So, I don't know. People gonna say what they gonna say. And like I said, at the end of the day, whatever they say, it just makes people more inquisitive about me. You know what I mean? To the point of where it's like rumors are innuendo. To the point of where you can say, yo, I heard she did this. Okay. And most of the time, what do you go do? You go inquire about the person. So it makes you more inquisitive about the person, to the point of where, hey, you may be looking at stuff and what's going up. They stuff is going up because you're looking, so I don't keep up.
You welcome it?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I'm taking a couple of things out of my cousin's book, man. You know what I mean? To the point of where I just feel like I like it to the point of where it just, the world that we live in today, I feel like it keeps the artistry alive. You know what I mean? Like, it keeps the artistry alive, man. Let people think, let people say what they're gonna say. You know, it just is what it is. I remember when they said that, I was doing an interview, and they said that I had interrupted DJ Khaled. Let me show you how it works. I interrupted DJ Khaled when he said, "What song are you gonna sing?" I said, "Well, I'm gonna sing, my next song is gonna be Trey Songz. We Can't Be Friends." And she was like, the crazy thing is, she was like, they said that you interrupted DJ Khaled and just started singing while he was talking, but she was like, I was actually in the audience. And I know you didn't do that because when I watched the show, they edited it to make it look like you did it. I'm like, there's somebody who knows. So I say that to say, like, when things hit media, people, they just have their thing about, they can believe whatever they're gonna believe. They tend to believe the things that have the most likes or whoever gasses it the most. So I just let people think what they're gonna think, bro.
Is there a question people ask you can't stand? Is there something that gets
Yes. Well, since old boy cut his hair now, so no. It's really not a question. It's just they always say, "Yo, anybody ever tell you you and Odell Beckham look alike?" You know, and I usually just laugh it off. You know, but I just want to say every light-skinned dude with a beard and blonde hair is not trying to look like Odell. You know what I mean? However, I hear that he cut his hair recently, so hey.
For clarification purposes, did you have this haircut or this hairstyle before him?
Mine was browner and kind of more orangey, but I did have the mohawk going on, like the same time as him. And the crazy thing is that the color actually ended up coming this color because I went to Bo Ricks because there was a girl who had did my color, and she put it in at different times, so it took three different colors. One was brown, one was orangish, and one was kind of platinum. I was like, yo, how am I gonna fix this? So I had to go to Bo Ricks, and she was like, we gotta go with the lighter color. So she gave me the platinum, and I was like, oh, I kind of like it. And then it was like, yo, you kind of look like Odell. And I'm like, is it because of the beard? She was like, nah. The style, y'all kind of dress alike too. I'm like, yo, I've been fresh for a minute, so they can't say that. You know what I mean? But hey, it is what it is, man.
Have you ever had a chance to meet him? Have you ever been in the same room as him?
Never met Odell, no.
Okay, just curious. What are your keys to success?
My keys to success.
What are some things that make you successful up until this point?
I want to say three things. Is my outlook. I've learned to take criticism. You know, a lot of times you have to look at, a lot of times people look at criticism as a bad thing. I take criticism as a good thing as long as it's coming from a person who is qualified to critique. So what I mean by that is, don't tell me like, yo, you should do this record like this, or next time you go on this TV show, do this if you've never done a TV show before. You're not qualified to critique me. So a lot of times, so that's one of my things, like, criticism is not a bad thing, but make sure you take it from people who are qualified to critique you to the point of where it helps you. Second thing is, this is one of my new ones, no equals new opportunity. Meaning, you know, we've been so conditioned in this world to think that no is a bad thing. I'd rather you tell me no than lead me on. Like, just tell me like, yo, no, I'm not coming to pick you up, than to have me sitting here thinking you are. What I mean by that is, no means new opportunity to the point of where you don't like what I just did in delivering this record, okay. You don't want to sign me, fine. I'm gonna make it pop still though. So I'm gonna turn it into a new opportunity for me, like I did. My third one is
You said critique and you said no.
yeah. My third one is ownership. Ownership, man. You gotta own whatever it is, and it may be a slow grind to the point of where, but at the end, it's gonna definitely be worth it. So whether I'm talking to a musician, whether I'm talking to an artist, whether I'm talking to a business owner, whatever it is, a lot of times people you got to start from the foundation. A lot of times people work their way back though, to the point of where, okay, I want to go get this business loan, I want to go do this, but you're not even registered as an LLC. Do you even have an EIN number? Like I'm gonna go backwards right quick. I had an artist come to me, he was like, yo bro, I'm trying to get on the radio. I'm like, okay, did you get your record media based? What? I said, media based, bro. Coded. What is that? I said, bro, you're not ready for radio. I said, you got to get past the hype of just hearing yourself on the radio. It's called the music business. You got to get it coded because it counts. That's how you keep track of your spins. Oh, I didn't know all that. I thought it was just getting played on the radio. No. So you gotta do your research. You know, you gotta be knowledgeable. But ownership, that's definitely my next one. Ownership.
Which brings me to this last question is, when we were talking about your cousin and you were backstage at a show and he said some words of advice to you.
Absolutely.
About music. You said something that he said about, I can't remember the exact phrase how you said it, but you said something and you used the word own, and then you said you'll get back to that later. Does this tie in with the ownership?
Yes. Own your artistry as well. He was really big on owning, and a lot of artists are doing this now, owning your masters. You know, ownership, and even if you can't own your masters, you know, own something that your music or that your name can fall under, to the point where that will protect you. You know, you got to know the business, and that's in anything, not just music, but you definitely have to know the business. But he really preached about masters and owning your catalog and just owning you, owning your music, you know. So that's what I'm on. I'm on my cousins about it. They're next up. I talk about that to them all the time. You know, I have my own company that my music has come out under, and I'm in a great position, my man, definitely.